Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that could be. Let's talk about sex.
Come on, I rock the planet, beating my chest like a silverback back, silverback back. I hold it down, tilt my crown on them. I'm a silverback back, silverback silence. There's some kings in the building. Throw your fists up and show some respect. There's gorillas in here, gorilla in here. It's gorillas in here, gorilla in here.
This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. First, we got to pay some bills. Will you be prepared for the next financial crisis? Our economy is already fragile because of COVID-19. So it won't take much to start an avalanche in the stock market. A run on banks, a freezing of credit cards, and then we're looking at a general collapse of our financial system. The first thing you will see is a food shortage. And that is why you need to be prepared ahead of time. Ask yourself, can you go weeks or months without being able to buy food? Not unless you stockpile food from My Patriot Supply. America's leader in survival food that stays fresh up to 25 years in proper storage. I've arranged for you to save $70 off of their popular 4-week food kit. That provides 2,000 calories per day. Go to preparewithkevinscorner.com and you'll get the emergency food kit before the next emergency. Your 4-week kit will arrive discreetly at your door within a few days. So visit preparewithkevinscorner.com. That is preparewithkevinscorner.com. Now, back to the video.
LGBTQ advocates say that Joe Biden will be the most pro-LGBTQ president ever. He is known in particular for his support for the transgender movement, and he has promised that the Equality Act will be his top legislative priority.
Y'all heard my intro. Now, if you came here because you got some fetish, or you think this is some funny sight, well, it ain't. We ain't talking about sex in that form. We talking about some fundamental things concerning sex that mankind has known for the history of mankind. But for some reason, there's some confusion. So here in Kevin's Corner, we gonna try to get to the bottom of it. Because right now, it's a controversy, y'all. We're talking about this whole executive order that Joe Biden signed that essentially just eliminates women's sports. And people are getting heated up. So we don't want to judge. We want to do an in-depth analysis to come to the conclusion whether guys could just magically change and become females and jump in female sports and compete without just dominating the females. But first, let's get some references from some people who they have their own opinion.
And you have concerns about this transgender movement, its impact on children and on religious liberty. When it comes to religious liberty, how might the new Biden administration's agenda affect it?
So the first thing to say there is that anyone who believes the truth, that we're created male and female, and that male and female are created for each other, could now find themselves on the wrong side of the federal government.
Allow me to set the scene for you. Every season is a new beginning, a new campaign, if you will. You start out with one goal, to win it all. And then you make it to the field where you see a high school boy across the field from you. Not as a coach, not as an assistant, but as a player. It's confusing. Your entire team's focus and motivation is lost and you're defeated before you even start.
Now, did y'all hear this young lady, Grace, right here? Trying to express how she feels as a female athlete and showing up on the softball field, and she looks across and see some biological males. You can see how that might mess you up and kind of discourage you. But what really made me mad about watching this clip is the fact that some grown behind man or woman is in that crowd with a bullhorn doing what the left does all the time, which is shout down people, call them all types of racist names and things, homophobe, xenophobe, and they use this stuff to get rid of true debate. See, they want people to think because you're questioning some of these things, and you might have a problem with recognizing some real biological differences. It's not because of those things. It's because that you're a homophobe or you're a transphobe, which when you put phobe on something, obviously, guys, that means you got the problem, not everybody else. And when you use that term, phobe, That means an irrational fear of something. Now, do you think this young lady has an irrational fear towards transgender men or transgender women? No. The real argument is, should they be able to compete against biological females? But the grown person in the crowd shouting her down don't want to talk about that because that doesn't make sense. Therefore, they're diverting away from discussion, and now all of a sudden it's just called this young lady a homophobe. Go home, homophobe. How about you take your grown butt home instead of wasting your day to come out and yell at a teenager? But let's get some more input on how people feel about this.
Now to a GMA exclusive, 2 transgender high school runners, well, they're kicking up dust in Connecticut, taking the top spots at the state girls championship, leaving parents wondering if they have an unfair advantage.
I'm sure Michael Strahan or Stringham or Hamstring or whatever his name is, being a former football player and an athlete, surely he knows that there is a physical difference between biological men and women. I'm pretty sure he should know it. You know, because all those years of playing sports, I highly doubt if he could remember a female showing up for practice, getting out on that field and competing against him. See, so to have to sit there and work for this network and try to act like this is a serious, you know, discussion and we're just getting to the bottom of it. Come on, man. Come on, Mike. But he can't say that because he works for a liberal network. But let's see what all the hubbub is about this.
That's right, Michael. We're talking about a subject that's so sensitive that Andrea and Terry, who you're about to meet, felt when it was time to tell their parents that they're transgender, they each revealed it by text, and now they have gone public with it, and they're facing opposition from people who say even though you may feel like a girl, you need to compete against the boys.
I don't see what the problem is. I mean, the commentator right there, she brought up a legitimate thought. I mean, just because you feel like a girl on the inside doesn't mean that you should compete with females when you have the anatomy of a man. But nowadays, if you say that, somehow you are a transphobic person, you're racist, all of those things. And in my mind, I think that's just logical. Shoot, I might feel like I'm, 10, 15 years old. But I'm not going to go down to the Pee Wee squad, throwing some shoulder pads that don't even fit anymore because I'm a grown man. Helmet sitting on top of my head. I might as well just put a potato chip shell on the top of my head because those little Pee Wee helmets don't fit. And when I get out there and start smashing all those Pee Wee kids and the parents start complaining, I look at them and say, hey, shut your mouths. See, because you know what? I might look like a grown man. My age says I'm a grown man, but on the inside, I'm only 10.
Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood dominating the competition at the Girls Track and Field Championships in Connecticut earlier this month. Coming in first and second place, respectively.
I'm a little concerned right off grip just seeing that because those two young men just smoked all those girls. It wasn't even close. So you telling me that we shouldn't have no suspicion? We shouldn't say, well, you know what? Maybe we should dig a little into this because we just saw all these biological females get dusted by 2 biological males at such a distance that it probably is as obvious that it's because of their years of being biological men. But here we go, guys.
And while it was a state race, their wins are making national headlines, not because of what they did, but because of who they are. 2 transgender girls.
Did you hear the commentator? Not because of what they did, but because of who they are. No, it has nothing to do with who you are. It's actually because of what you did. It has nothing to do with who you are. If you didn't get in a biological female's race and smoke them all, no one would care whether you thought you were a transgender woman or whatever. But if you get out there and you smoke my daughter and it's consistent, this ain't one of those things where like, oh man, they won a couple times. They are breaking records here. And yet she's trying to make it appear that the issue is who they are. They're transgender girls. It's not what they did. See the trick? No, it's actually what they did, not who they are. But we'll play along so we can get to the bottom of this, okay?
When was the first time that either of you found any kind of opposition to you participating on the girls' team?
I was expecting it, so every day I'll go home, search up track and field high school, Terry Miller,
Because you wanted to know what people were saying.
Yeah.
Some of those comments were harsh. Critics complaining that Andrea and Terry both have an unfair advantage since they were born boys.
Here's how it all goes down, just in case you're wondering. She said some of these people were very harsh by saying that they have an unfair advantage because they were born as a biological male. And that is harsh. So we're not allowed to recognize basic science and biology and things like that. Now I'm starting to get concerned when I hear a lot of liberals tell us we're science deniers, but yet we'll say, well, we're now being bigoted because we're recognizing science and biology. And this right here now is hurtful. So we have to start perverting our ability to rationalize, to recognize things that we've been knowing for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years. But for some reason now, in 2020, 21, we got dumber. We don't know now what a biological male is versus a biological female. And if you do recognize that, yeah, you're in trouble. But we're going to do more exploration to get to the bottom of this. A scientific experiment, if you will. Stay tuned.
At what point do you decide, actually, it's more appropriate for me to be on the girls' team and competing with other girls?
I decided that the summer before 9th grade.
They've both started hormone therapy and say that for the most part they've been welcomed by friends, family, coaches, and administrators with open arms. But there is some backlash from parents and students. 2 petitions were even started in an attempt to change the current rule of the state's governing body of interscholastic sports. The rule states that students are entitled to participate on a team based on their gender identity, how they identify.
The girls athletes are at the physical disadvantage compared to the transgender female.
Now, y'all hear this, ladies and gentlemen. You hear the mother and some of the people petitioning this. They said that they're allowed to compete based on what the gender that they feel they are. And the parent is a little concerned. She said the biological females are at a disadvantage, which it appears that the results supports that narrative, that questioning, and that concern. So instead of, opting to hear about the biological females and their concern, they're trying to make it appear that, people don't want them to compete because they're transgender women. No, it's because they're biologically born men that have advantages over biologically born women. And it has nothing to do with your personal choice or how you feel on the inside. Now, if they wanted to still run with the girls and just for their own personal best, keep record and times and stuff, fine. However, that should not knock out the biological women coming in first, second, third, and so on and so forth, because that's what's happening here. The parents are concerned and so are the girls. So instead of you trying to compete for first place, now you already know these 2 are going 1 and 2. And the best you can do is third. Nobody works hard just to get third place. No, it's either first or nothing for most people. But yet these girls are coming out and saying, man, I hope I get third place today. And I don't understand how these young men that feel they're women can't empathize with that. Why they can't understand how some of these young women may feel. And that's why I wonder what's going on in the heads of 1, the adults that support and push this agenda, and 2, just being considerate as a transgender man or woman, and you might have an advantage over young ladies. Why would you do that to them and then try to make it seem like they're the ones that have the problem? But we're going to get to the bottom of the problem.
Looks like we got to do this again because apparently Rachel McKinnon, who is a trans cyclist, has won yet another competition.
What, as you understand it, is their problem with you competing?
I'm legally and medically female, but the people who oppose...
Stop. She's legally and medically female.
Does not mean she's biologically female. She's still biologically male.
Okay. Oh, see?
She's very careful.
Thank you. Okay.
Medically just means that on your paperwork it says...
Okay.
But the people who oppose my existence still want to think of me as male. Think of me as male.
Now there we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and pull on the heartstrings and make it seem like it's deeper than what it really is. These two brothers are addressing this biological man who is obviously breaking records because he's a biological man. But instead of acknowledging that or jumping in with the biological men, he chooses to, jump in with the biological females, and now he's breaking records in their category. And these two gentlemen right here are not buying his story. And the response is, people are opposing my existence. See, that's how you get people to shut up. Yeah. See, you say things like you're trying to erase me and you're challenging my existence. No, we recognize you exist. We recognize you're right here. See, we recognize science, physics, and things of that nature. See, so I can't tell you that you don't exist when science says you do. I'm looking at you. I can touch you. I can see you. Okay. I know what an apple stem looks like versus not having an apple stem when it comes down to boys and girls. But you want me to erase that. That's what you want. And substitute it with something that's going on in your head. And because I won't buy into it, now all of a sudden somehow that erases your existence? Sounds like some manipulation.
Transgender man is a female who identifies as a man.
Yeah.
Okay? A transgender woman is a male who identifies as a woman. You have to understand the difference between sex and gender. Gender is a spectrum, okay? People show traits of femininity, androgynous. That's in regards more towards characteristic behaviors. Sex is a matter of biology, and it's about your gonads, it's about your chromosomes. These are things that are generally immutable, meaning you cannot change them. That means that a male, no matter how much they transition, will never become a female. You can't change your chromosomes, you can't change your internal organs. A lot of this stuff aren't mutable. Your femaleness, okay, the fact that you're a female isn't based off of any paper or what a legal person says. It's based off your biology.
Whoa, hold up, brother. Talking like that might get you kicked off the internets. This man is talking some science right there. He's talking the difference about gender and sex. Okay, yeah, I might even be able to, tinker with that whole concept of a structure and all that. Because let's be real, we all grew up. We had some people in the neighborhood, couple boys, and while we over there playing football, he decides he wants to go over and double judge. We all knew that he maybe identified more as a feminine person. Who knows? Could have been all kind of things that contributed to that. But we didn't judge the kid. He hung around with all of us. But that still didn't mean he wasn't pumping testosterone through his body. You see, so now, instead of them recognizing that, okay, if you want to act more feminine, knock yourself out. But that does not abstract and take out all your testosterone, because your sex gives you an advantage over females, regardless if you're acting like a female. If you're acting like a female, doesn't make you a female and get rid of all of your testosterone. Now, I thought that that's pretty simple. I mean, I'm no science teacher and nothing like that, but I think I might have hit the nail on the head with that one. Let's continue hearing more about this gender versus sex from these two brothers right here.
As their best examples of biological female competing against biological males, they never win anything. They never compete at the highest level. They never show out in a real way. But notice that all the biological males who transition and compete against females, they are breaking records. So if this is so fair, how come there aren't more transgender men winning?
Man, that was deep. It was out of sight. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, well, yeah, that is pretty peculiar. So now, just out of, I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, why is it that every time a biological man jumps into biological female sports, they dominate, but the biological females that transition into becoming a man, they never, ever are able to get in there and compete against biological men. I don't even know if they ever tried. And these biologically born men who think they're females, well, when they're competing against girls, they're dominating. But when you put them back over in the category with the guys, they're getting smoked. Could that be incentive? I don't know. Because if it's that easy, guys, I mean, there was some sports I didn't take very seriously when I was growing up. And I just say, you know what? I mean, it's not worth putting all the work in to become a swimmer or whatever. But now that I know that I have an advantage, and all I have to do is just say, well, today I feel on the inside like I'm a man. That could be motivation for me to come out of an early retirement and jump in badminton, maybe go out on the tennis court. Who knows? Jump in some sport that's, you know, I couldn't compete with at this age against men. But I know I could get in there and give it a go with some girls. Who knows? I mean, it's 2021. Anything can happen.
Here's the thing about the 2 biological males that took the top 2 girls' medals in the state of Connecticut. Their times were not even good enough to qualify them to compete in the state championships on the boys' team. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Their times were not good enough to qualify them for the boys' state championships. But 2 years in a row, they won first and second place competing against the girls. All in all, these 2 biological males won 15 women's state championship titles.
15 state championship titles. But yet there's no reason to question the difference between biological men and women. And these transgender women don't feel bad about this. They suspended their reality. They're so wrapped up in their own, I guess, identity and stuff like that. They can't see a logical, result of having advantages. How did you win all 15 of those state championship titles when you wouldn't have won them if you would have been running with biological males? And yet this young lady, for questioning that, comes under severe attack. And listen to what the people say she should do.
Some in the media have accused me of being a sore loser. They tell me to run harder. But the biological changes that males go through during puberty are so significant, they gain an insurmountable advantage in strength and in speed.
Now, listening to this young lady right here break down basic biology makes me feel dumb. Because here I am on a planet with supposedly smart human beings that could recognize the difference between biological men and women. And here I am in 2021 receiving a biological, course or class talking about stuff that I know. But somehow, all these brainiacs, all these politicians, all these activists, they might need to go back to like 10th grade science and biology. No, you know what? Forget that. Even go back further. Go back to little kids. Little kids recognize real soon that something's different about her than me. Yeah, but now all of a sudden we're getting taught a biology lesson again, and it's making me feel dumb. It's making me feel dumb because I even got to bring this up. This is crazy. But let's continue.
I like to say that the bike doesn't care about what gender you were assigned at birth. The bike doesn't judge you.
Did y'all hear that very sentimental statement that's designed to manipulate your feelings? The bike, according to Rachel, the bike doesn't judge you. It doesn't care. And frankly, I'm not judging this lady either. I mean, I don't care what she thinks because it has nothing to do with the bike judging her or us judging her as a person. It has something to do with she being a biological male and getting in a sport with females and smoking them. So I can apply that to everything, okay? I mean, you know what? If I jump out there with some 5-year-olds playing basketball, well, guys, the basketball doesn't judge me. No. See, yeah. So when I'm out there as a grown man, posting up 5-year-olds and smacking them down, and they go to shoot the ball and I throw it all the way down to the end of the dang on court. Like, get out of my face. Don't look that way. See, hey, don't get mad at me, okay? Because I identify as a 5-year-old, and the basketball don't judge me. But guess who would judge me? All those parents of those 5-year-olds that's in the stands looking at me dominate their kids and wondering, why is this grown man out there with my kids? And yet if I say something, they're going to tell me I'm being racist, sexist, discriminative, and all of those good things like that. So she can take that nice statement that's designed to make me feel all funny on the inside and stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine.
From NBC, trans women retain athletic edge after a year of hormone therapy, study finds. Well, a new study suggests transgender women, also known as men, maintain an athletic advantage over their cisgender peers, also known as women, even after a year on hormone therapy. Oh my goodness, you're kidding me.
Extra, extra, read all about it. They finally discovered something that we've been knowing for years. Right now, I guess these scientists who just realized this, perhaps even they are just now discovering gravity as well. All of these years, knowing that if you jump off a building, you're going to fall. Now, all of a sudden, we're questioning it. We're saying, are you going to fall? Who knows? Just in case you might feel like a bird. Who knows? You might just start to flapping them arms so hard and just singing songs. I believe I can fly, to where you might just take flight, But after about 8 or 9 people drop to their death, breaking news, we just now realized that gravity still pulls things down. Therefore, we do not encourage people to believe they're birds and jump off of buildings. Go figure. But you know what? Let's look a little deeper. Let's go ahead because, Michael knows me. He's a conservative, probably a white nationalist and stuff like that. So we better get to the bottom of this. I want some concrete proof, man.
CC Telfer was apparently a middling sprinter as a male. Now, CC Telfer considers himself a transgender woman, and he competes on the Franklin Pierce University track team. Not surprisingly, he is now world class because he is running against women. So here's what CC Telfer says, no, you understand. I'm disadvantaged running against women, which comes as a shock to all of the women who are getting beat by a guy who has 6 inches and a significant amount of musculature to his advantage.
Anything, me competing against cisgender females is a disadvantage because my body is going through so many medical implications, like it's going through biochemistry changes. So being on, hormone replacement therapy, it gives you your muscle depletion, your muscle is deteriorating. You lose a lot of strength because, testosterone is where you get your strength, your agility, all of that athletic stuff. So I have to work twice as hard to keep that strength.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for clearing all that up for us, Cece. Basically, she just straight up came out and said, you know what? No. See, I know y'all think that all these natural muscles and this height and big bones and big lungs and big heart and all of that stuff gives me an advantage. No, man. Actually, that gives me a disadvantage because of these hormone treatments. It's a lot. It's a lot on my body. And I have to work extra hard to keep my muscles up and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, does that make any sense? So let me understand something. Since you already have such an advantage as a biological male, even with the hormones and the treatments and stuff, even with that, you still have an advantage. So do you really need to work hard to keep your strength when you already have so much extra strength that whether you take hormones or not, you're probably still going to have a significant advantage over all the girls? But yet, she's telling us this because for whatever reason, we're I guess are supposed to just suspend our rationale, our understanding of biology and physics and stuff like that. But what's more frustrating to me is whoever's doing this interview is sitting there like, oh yeah. But Ben Shapiro is not going to let this person get away with that.
Okay, can we go back to some of the pictures here? Okay, this is a picture of CC Telfer next to people who are competing with CC Telfer. CC Telfer is a very large human being. CC Telfer won the women's 400-meter hurdles at the NCAA Division II Championship. I wonder why. How could this have happened? Maybe it's because CC Telfer is a genetic male, and there are differences between male and female, and this is all idiotic. Idiotic. I understand, hormone treatments, not great for your body. Also, when you start off as a man who is 6 inches taller than every woman on the field with the musculature of a man, the depletion, still not going to compare to having grown up as a woman with estrogen.
But wait a minute. Ben Shapiro, he's also a conservative white nationalist and all of that stuff. I don't have enough proof, man. I still think that there's some way I can justify this. You know what? Let's get down to some hardcore data. Stuff that you just can't mistake. Like stuff you see with your eyes, witness with your own brain, hear with your own ears. Maybe, just maybe, that might support this argument that these white nationalists are making about the whole transgender issue. Because, see, this is serious, especially when our politicians, who are supposed to be fighting for, you know, women's rights and all of that stuff, are signing legislation that would make sure that biological men can jump into, you know, female sports and all of those things. And if you say something about it, you're violating the Civil Rights Act and things of that nature. So you just better shut your mouth and get smoked. So before all of this stuff pop off and cause a whole bunch of controversy, let's deal with some just non-disputed facts, okay? Because this new director of education apparently already have intentions of making sure that everyone, male, female, or transgender, have the opportunity to participate in sports. Use whatever bathroom you feel like using, which I didn't know that that was a problem. And these people are trying to make it seem like this is discrimination against young adults or, you know, certain athletes. No, has nothing to do with that. Male and female athletes have never been, at least in the many, many years, been discriminated against. But because now they're creating a new category of humans, which are now somewhere in between male and female, that right there is what we're addressing. Not, well, women got the right to play sports. Of course they do. Of course they do. Women. That's what we're saying. See, but here we go. Here we go. So let's do it, y'all. Roll the highlight reel. Biological females have on this dude, and he just ran right by them like they were standing still. Could be because of his very large muscles and height and big lungs and heart, stuff like that. Whoa, he's pulling away too. Whoa, isn't that Alex Felix? She's good, but yet this grown man ran right past her. Oh, now, there's no way in the world this guy right here is going to catch that lady. Look how far she's ahead. Whoa, that was like she was just standing still. Okay, maybe this will prove that there's no difference, this part right here. Okay, oh, wait a minute, she's falling behind. I noticed the difference in her stride. Yeah, you know what, maybe this highlight reel was a bad example. We better dig a little deeper. Let's try another one. Okay, I'm sure that this right here would be a little better than the last clip. Maybe that was just a one-off. Let's see what happens on this one.
I reckon Poland have got a 5-second lead on the USA, but it's closing a little bit because Okolo's coming through. Jamaica are chasing, and Great Britain on the last leg. Martin Rooney could well be having to run down the Polish champion on the last leg to get a medal for Great Britain.
Now,
USA, I would expect to overhaul Poland. Jamaica might, but
oh, it's over. It's over.
Bahrain
There's no man in the world that can walk that lady down with that huge lead. She's pretty far ahead.
Abbas finished very, very well yesterday, and the chase is on up front though because Michael Cherry is closing in and just speeding past Justina Sviatowsetic, who can't panic here, and she knows she
That's one.
Here, but she's chasing a medal and she's trying to hold on to
Okay,
Jamaica.
go woman, go!
Fifth at the moment, just behind Bahrain with a very impressive Abbas.
Show him it ain't no difference.
But the Bahraini athlete is strong, and he is
ain't no difference between men and women.
Francis now passes Justina Sviatowsetic, but Martin Rooney tries to get the United States way out in front. They take a new world record, sub 3:10. Jamaica holds on, Bahrain in third, Martin Rooney fourth, and Poland fifth.
Wow. Now, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that one. I mean, heck, she had the advantage. I wonder what made the difference. Could it be all of that testosterone, that the years and years of muscle building and huge lungs and stuff like that? And yeah, maybe, just maybe, if all of these guys right there were on, some estrogen, they would have never caught her. It would have made that much of a difference. But man, I mean, it's really hard to support this whole narrative at this point. The evidence just isn't there. But wait, there's more videos. Okay, you know what? We better look into it because maybe there's more to see.
That he ain't doing no reassignment surgery.
But she decided against gender reassignment. Have you finished the transition?
Oh, look, I am transitioned. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of cosmetic surgery and, reshape their jaw and, have surgery on their voice box and get breast implants and all sorts of stuff. I'm definitely not going down that path.
Hormones is the only thing you're gonna do. He's not gonna get the throat thing checked, not gonna get the jawline fixed, not gonna get nothing on the chest, and ain't gonna get nothing down under.
Transgender MMA fighter has said she wants a license to fight in California.
A biological male has just become the first transgender person to win a world title in cycling.
First transgender weightlifter winning her maiden international event as a woman.
A biological male winning a gold medal in a women's event now seems a matter of when, not if.
Since sports events began, men and women have been segregated by gender to make the competitive events fairer due to differences in muscle mass, innate strength, or testosterone levels. But nowadays, these physical differences no longer seem to be a determining factor.
There are all kinds of reasons that people have advantages. Somebody's parents can give them year-round training. Somebody else is really, really tall and someone's really, really short.
Sport has never been fair. You bought into that myth, so have a lot of other people. But let's face it, if I wanted to be a jockey, I couldn't be. Nature endows her gifts unevenly in society.
It's true that some physical characteristics give athletes an unusual advantage in sports, like Michael Phelps' long arms or Usain Bolt's height. But the genetic difference of being born as a male or female and competing with the opposite gender proved to be more of a determining factor than any bodily developments in sports.
If you go through puberty, you have all the benefits of having a male body. And even if you transition and reduce your testosterone, you're still going to have those benefits. You're going to have the bone structure, the slightly bigger heart, more red blood cells. So therefore, a female athlete competing against a transgender female is always going to be at a disadvantage.
Testosterone levels are important because the amount of the hormone defines the eligibility of athletes to compete whenever sporting events are limited to a single sex, following IAAF rulings.
The idea that we need to protect women's or female sport from other women and females is itself inherently discriminatory. We need to protect women's or female sport from
Did y'all hear what this person just said? Rachel McKinnon protecting female athletes from other females is very discriminatory. I don't know how dumber that statement can get. So from what I'm gathering, just because we imagine things in our head, we should be able to live it out in reality, even if it hurts, harms, or put other people at a disadvantage. So now, where does that stop? If a grown man feels that, he's only, 12 and he preys upon young ladies, and you arrest him and you say you're discriminating against me. I mean, I'm a 12-year-old. And they say, no, you're a 40-year-old man who believes in your head that you're a 12-year-old. And you say, you know what? The idea that you have to protect other 12-year-olds from another 12-year-old is highly discriminatory. See, this is how absolute moronic our country, the planet, God's coming back. Jesus got to be on his way back, man. When people start making comments and believing stuff like this and arguing with people about this stuff, calling you, some type of racist or bigot because you disagree with the statement that this woman just said. Mad that you got a problem with it and you're discriminating against me because I'm a woman. I'm gonna try to get through this.
No testosterone policy will ever work.
Male to female athletes no longer need to have reassignment surgery, but they do need to demonstrate that their testosterone levels have been below 10 nanomole per litre for at least 1 year, according to the 2016 International Olympic Committee guidelines.
It's not saying you're a man or a woman. It's saying you can compete. It's a matter of eligibility to participate in certain competitions.
In the case of female to male athletes, they can compete without restrictions.
The 10 nanomoles per litre, as I understand it, something like 90% of female athletes, their testosterone levels are around 3 nanomoles per litre. So in other words, this upper limit is 3 times what would be typical in a female athlete. So it seems like a kind of arbitrary setting unrelated to the realities of the situation.
Well, I actually agree with you there.
But what happens with student athletes who decide to change their gender? Well, the rules are not clear at all. Most countries don't have clear regulations. And the biggest student sports organization in the US, the NCAA, does not require gender confirmation or a legal recognition of a player's transition sex in order for transgender players to participate on a team that matches their identity, at least 1 year of hormone treatment prior to competing on a female team. In the middle of all this legal mess, Zuby, a UK-based rapper, basically identified as a female and broke British women's weightlifting records.
Saying, look, I'm not a professional powerlifter, but even I myself, I can stroll into the gym on any given day and I can break the British women's bench press record. I can break the British women's deadlift record. When I'm on form, I could potentially break the British female squat record. And I don't even compete.
No one thinks it's fair because we all know that males are physically stronger than females and they compete at a higher level. From third on, it's a little different. We're actually fighting for those spots. But in those meets, there's no way that one of us biological girls will be able to outrun those transgender athletes.
You're taking the gender construct by definition, and that's your problem.
It's absolutely insane.
So if you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance-enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago, and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's bullshit.
Well, guys, I'm convinced. After watching all of this, just baseless evidence of these naturally born biological men destroying all of these biological women, I still see no reason why, if I wake up tomorrow and feel like I'm a female, which, you know what, hey, what the heck, I might as well. Because according to this last guy, you don't even have to, you know, do anything to alter nothing. Maybe, you know, just take some estrogen and then you're good. So, you know, let me see, maybe I might just change my voice or something. I might be to throw all the other women off when I decide to get into female MMA. Because I'm coming out of retirement, y'all. Yeah, oh, you know what? I better take the hat off. They might think, you know, I'm a Nazi or racist by coming in with my Make America Great Again hat on. Okay, so let's see if I can alter my voice. They might not notice I'm still a man. Forget the mustache. Forget all that. Forget all these muscles.
Okay. Hey, how you doing? I'm Kevin. Yeah, I'm showing up here as I was hoping maybe there's an opening for a transgender female to come out of retirement and compete against all of these biological women that I somehow woke up the other day with the revelation that I've been suppressing the inner female within me. And what? You don't think that's fair? Well, you know what? Are you transphobic? You know what? I think you're a bigot. You're transphobic, and I'm telling CNN, MSNBC, or someone to come here, especially, you know what, matter of fact, I'm even going to tell Joe Biden, because I'm protected right now under his new executive order. Now, is that the girl's bathroom? Okay, because I'm going in there. I see lots of pretty girls who walk around in the ring with those little numbers and stuff with these bikinis on, going in that bathroom. But you know what, you don't have to worry about me, because I am a woman. Okay, don't think I'm going in there for some perverted, you know, peeping Tom stuff. No, I'm going in to simply do my business and leave. And then come back out here, get in that ring and destroy every single woman. And if you don't believe something like that can happen, then you need to listen to one of my favorite fighters, none other than Jesse the Body Ventura.
Now that I can compete as female, I'm ready to smash the other girls.
Scared, this is all city, yeah, all state, yeah, all coast. Up north, got our hands round y'all throat. Cut your wind off, we need breathing room. Get your hands off our plate before we eat them. Got us starving, got us robbing. You ain't noticed it yet, y'all got a problem. I know you see the goons, I know you see the apes, I know you see the way we tear up the place, yeah.
Just want to say thanks for checking out the video. Check out Extreme Tees, my sponsor. The link is below this video. If you click on it and put Kevin in the promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. And finally, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And if you'd like to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's links below this video to do that as well. Okay, God bless you and God bless America.